Hey everyone, I had another idea for a short video that I can make from reviewing some footage over this weekend. I picked out this clip because I think this is a really good example of how, as a drone, you can add a lot of value by recognizing what your team is trying to do and then not just trying to survive. So for this clip, we're going to be focusing on Gold Checks, who's Jasmine, and then myself, who is Blue Abs. So the a very important skill to have for any role in this game is a recognition of what your team is trying to do based on the game state. If you don't know what your team is trying to do, it's really hard to make any sort of decisions. And I see a lot of newer players do in that sort of situation is they just try to survive, or they stick to one single task that they think is their task throughout the game. And just looking at the game state right now, real quick. So, gold is wiped. Blue has two speed warriors up. Blue has control of the snail, but the snail's not in a super dangerous position yet. The goal for gold right now is to try to get up their speed warrior, which is gold skulls. And let's just rewind it a tiny bit and start from the beginning, and then we'll check it out. Okay, so let's play through the video. So right at this moment, the blue warriors are trying to go to the rightmost gate because that's obviously the gate that this queen is trying to go to in order to get up their speed drone. So as the drone, they probably know that the most important thing for them to do is to try to keep these warriors occupied. And some drone players, they might, try to go to the snail in order to sack because they think that their job is solely to be on the snail. But a really important thing to do is just to try to bump this warrior back, which is what this drone is going to do. In this situation, to be honest, I'm so focused at where I'm trying to go that I lose sight of my immediate surrounding, especially in a situation in which I know that the other team is wiped. And because of that, any sort of bump screws up my like immediate tech, and it just makes my flying a lot less clean because I'm no longer tracking my own individual character. I'm trying to assess the situation of what's going on elsewhere. So a couple of these bumps, what you'll see is that it kind of changes where I have anticipated where my flight path is, and it slows me down just by hitting ledges. So that's the first thing that we're going to see here. So I just got bumped once, and then because of that, where I would have, because I can take my eye off of my character because I know that that gold team is wiped, I probably anticipated my tap was going to get me around here. But because I got bumped, I'm hitting this ledge now because I'm no longer looking over here. I'm trying to see what the gold queen is doing. So we go a little bit further. I kind of, because I recognize that I'm no longer in the path that I want to be in, I have to take the low path, which is the fastest way for me to get to the thing that I'm trying to achieve. And then once again, you'll see that this gold drone bumps me back one more time. So maybe some people are looking at this and they're saying, okay, well, that gold drone is trying to survive. Um, I haven't talked to Jasmine about this particular situation, but it does seem quite obvious to me that she knew what was going on in this game. She knew what she needed to do was to delay the speed warrior from trying to stop this form, and that is why she's bumping. Because if she was solely looking at trying to survive, it's pretty obvious what she would have done in this state right now. If she was only looking to survive after this initial bump, she would have just taken this path above and then gone around. But she knew that I wasn't trying to kill her. I was trying to get to this gate. So instead of taking the path above me, she was continually trying to see how many bumps she could get to delay me as much as possible. So she hits a second bump, and this last bump that she hits would have been really effective had I not anticipated this last bump. But also, this made this tap really hard for me. After these two bumps, I knew that this drone basically knew what they were trying to do. They knew that they were trying to delay me. And this makes this tech a lot more refined for me, and it makes it a lot easier for me to miss. I knew that I could no longer go high and bounce off the ceiling. I knew I could no longer maybe do two long taps and then come up a little bit high over here. I knew that the tech that I had to hit was to just scrape this path in order to stop this drone. So a lot of times this is a trivial stop for me. This is just like I can do like probably any number of taps in order to get into this gate and stop this drone. But because this drone was bumping me so many times, I had to focus more. And anytime you have to have more of a refined tap, is a higher instance that that warrior is going to mess up. So what you're going to see here is that I do make my tech, and I'm able to just scrape underneath, even with this drone above, and then she just bounces off my head, and then I kill this drone. So I still achieved the goal of stopping this drone, but because of the slowdown, it allows this queen to stop to kill me. So even though I was still able to stop this drone, if those bumps didn't happen, well, first of all, I very easily could have missed it because of those bumps. She could have hit that last bump, and then I never would have stopped that drone. But also, if she hadn't made any of these bumps, I would have gotten there. I would have already been there, right? I would have been able to either bump this drone out or kind of made it a difficult situation for this queen to dive. She basically achieved her goal of keeping the map at a minimum imbalance by stopping me long enough in order for me to die on this gate because I didn't get here earlier. If I had gotten here so much earlier because of none of the bumps, I would have been here super early. I might have been able to get on the outside of the queen and allowing our queen to be on this side, being able to stop this drone before they even get to this gate. But because of these bumps, I wasn't able to get there. I was able to get there right in the nick of time, but that also was the time in which like I was going to be punished by that queen. So I would actually attribute this kill on me to this drone because of the delays that she did with those particular bumps. So the main takeaway is you have to understand the state of the map and what your team is trying to achieve. And if you know what your team is trying to achieve, then that dictates what you should be doing as a drone. And sometimes I think drones may think like, oh, like what can I do to help these situations? All I can do is try to bump a warrior into the queen or bump a warrior into one of my other warriors to get a kill. But delaying a warrior is super, super useful too. And delaying a warrior can help your team get somebody else up just because they're not going to be in a position to punish that drone from getting in the gate. So hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know.